Tip number 1, collect as much wood, stone, and flint, food, and boar hide as you possibly can at the very start. You can find wood just about anywhere by punching the trees, and you can only punch the small trees. You can't punch the larger trees, but at least punching the smaller trees, you can still break them apart with your fists until you're able to craft an axe later, and this will give you a decent amount of wood. Stone can be found just about anywhere. You can pick up these small rocks right here. They're going to be located all over the place. You can just search the ground and you will come across them, guaranteed. Flint is also a white rock that you can find, and primarily you're going to find it by the riversides. The reasoning why you're going to need to be collecting flint is because this is what we need to make the daggers out of, and that is going to help you out later on in one of our other tips, which we'll go over here in a little bit. But collecting as much wood, rock, and flint is going to give you a huge upper hand in excelling and unlocking more recipes for you to utilize to advance your game even further. When it comes to collecting boar hides or deer hides, boar hides are going to be a lot easier because the boars actually want to attack you. The deer hides are going to be difficult because the deer hides, or I should just say the deers in general, they are going to want to run away from you. So, when it comes to the boars, just chase them around. They will come after you, punch them until they die, and you will collect the leather scraps here. And this is going to help you out. That is what we have for tip number 1. Tip number 2. In order to use all of this material that we have now run around spending all this time collecting, you're going to have to build a bench. In order to build a bench, you need a hammer. Go ahead and push tab, click on hammer here, and go ahead and craft it with the wood and the stone that you have found. If you have enough material, I would also recommend going ahead and crafting yourself a stone axe. This is going to be incredibly useful down the road. And then go ahead, and then they are slotted in the number 2 and 3 hotkey positions. Push number 2, and then we can go ahead and craft a bench. Once you lay your bench, you can push R, and that'll remove any equipment that you are holding. And you'll notice that we can't use the bench because the bench needs a roof. Luckily, though, we know that the bench does not take a whole lot to actually get a roof over it. All you are going to need is a total of 4 walls, 2 pieces of roof, and 2 corner pieces. Push R to put away your stuff, push E, and now we can use our bench to craft other material. There we go, easy peasy. Another thing that the bench is useful for is repairing your items. You will notice that as you chop away at trees and as you build items, your crafted items will become damaged. Come back to the bench to go ahead and repair this rather than just making 500 hammers like I did at the start of this game. Makes it nice and easy, and you can use this little hut and bench for as long as you need to until you go ahead and build yourself a nice base. Go ahead and build yourself a base as early as you possibly can. The reasoning why is because every single time that you die as of right now, you are going to have to start over at the beginning. If you go ahead and build yourself a base, and you can decide to build a base wherever you want, once you have that base built, then you will be ready to go, and you can build yourself a bed, and you will respawn wherever your bed location is at. If you have an axe, try to chop down 2 trees at once if you can. This is going to maximize your efficiency and being able to chop down and get more wood even quicker. Just be careful because gravity is a real thing in this game, and they have done an amazing job at being very realistic with it. When chopping down the trees will fall downhill for the most part, and when a tree hits another tree, it can destroy that tree, creating a domino effect. So, if you're standing at the top of a hill and you go ahead and chop down a tree, that tree will fall into another tree, and so on and so forth, until you have a domino effect of trees just destroying themselves, giving you more wood a lot quicker. Get yourself a hoe. Funny. Get yourself a hoe as quick as you possibly can, and then also get yourself a flint knife. Now here you can see we need flint and we need leather scraps. That's where these things come into play, and the flint knife is going to be extremely useful when it comes to killing deer. Now that you have these 4 items, it's going to be able to help you excel in building yourself a base a whole lot quicker. Now when it comes to building a base, it's at your complete discretion where you build it, but personally I like to build my bases by the water side. Reasoning being is just because you can actually have boats in this game, and later on you're going to want a dock with a boat, and that's going to help you travel around the map a whole lot quicker. In order to build a base, take your hoe and go ahead and level out the ground wherever you want to lay down your foundation. Go ahead and chop down any trees or bushes that might be in your way, and then go ahead and just build yourself a nice little base. It doesn't need to be anything big or spectacular. You really just need something that'll put a roof over your head. Now be sure to join me in another video where I will go over building techniques and how building works in Valheim, so then that way you can successfully build yourself bigger, better homes. The building in this game can be extremely tricky, definitely frustrating, I would say, at times, so be sure to check it out, just because, yeah, you don't want to be as miserable as I was trying to figure this whole game out. Now go ahead and make sure to equip your little house with a bed and a fire, and don't forget that the physics in this game are real, so you do need to vent out the smoke actually in this game. There we go. That's all you really need, is just for a tiny little house, and make sure that you got a bench and a bed in there, and that's it. And then your little bird will show up to go ahead and tell you how well you did. Once you're done, you can go ahead and claim your bed, and that's your new spawn point. After a hard day of work, breathe in a little bit of smoke after a nice long nap on a uncomfortable piece of hay. Nothing beats the Viking days. This is a real piece of crap house I built. Don't judge. Alright, if you guys find abandoned homes like this, and this one actually has a beehive in it, so this will be interesting, but if you guys actually come across some old houses, you can actually put a workbench next to it, and then you can disassemble the house for easy access to some wood. This is super helpful in early game, so then that way if you're feeling a little lazy and you don't want to chop down all of those trees, you can just do this in its place. And then just be very careful about beehives, because the beehives can kill you. Now when it comes to hunting deer, deer can be extremely frustrating. The second that they see you, they will run away. A helpful tip is to sneak up behind them. You can push control to go ahead and start sneaking. Just make sure to watch your stamina, because sneaking will burn stamina. Then go ahead and keep an eye on the center cursor, and it'll tell you whether or not the deer can spot you. But because the knife has so much back blow damage, you can pretty much one-hit deer. It's a nice easy kill for you. And tip number 9, you're going to, after killing your first boss, collect some items that's going to help you build your first pickaxe. And from this, you will receive a trophy along with some hard antlers. Once you have your material and you have your pickaxe, go ahead and the way that you can utilize this is when you're trenching to create a moat around your entire base. If you swing your pickaxe at the very bottom of the wall, no matter how deep you are, it's going to remove all of the stone and dirt directly above you, making it way easier to dig through. Another helpful tip: When raising the ground. Raising the ground can actually cost you quite a bit of stone along with needing the workbench nearby, and it can just be extremely frustrating. Put the circle right on the very edge here, and it will raise up all the ground right in front of you to the level that you're at. Or if you want to put it, let's just say like right there, if you want to change it level, I mean wherever, right? You can pretty much just put it on the very side of the hilltop, and that's where it'll raise it to. So then that way you're not sitting here having to stack it up a million times right in front of you, wasting an incredible amount of material. Thanks guys for stopping by, I appreciate it. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any other game tips and tricks videos. And then also be sure to stop by and check out our podcast. It's hosted on anchor.fm. You can also find it on Spotify, Google, Apple, and many more places. Be sure to drop a comment down below if there's something else that you want to see, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.